Hey, what's going on, fellas? How you doing, man? Antonelli here, answering your questions today. Today's question is about college baseball and what is a typical college day like with class, baseball, weightlifting, homework, all that stuff. What do you do in a typical day? I don't think a lot of people realize. A lot of high school players don't realize the type of commitment it takes if you're going to play college baseball. And so, depending on the level of baseball, of course, the schedules are a little different and the demands are different based on where you are, kind of in the on the totem pole of college baseball. My experience is at Wake Forest University. That's where I played for 3 years, and so we're in the ACC, one of the better conferences in the country, and so the baseball there is going to be really demanding, and the academics there are really, really tough. And so when I chose Wake Forest, I chose it because I was like, I want to go to the best academic and baseball school I can go to in the country. Because if baseball doesn't work out, I want to be able to fall back on my degree. That's what I said. And then I got to Wake, and about 3 weeks in, I said, holy hell, what the hell did I do? This is way too much work. So, but again, I'm very glad that I went and did it. Although I'm coaching baseball now, so I don't know how much my Wake Forest degree really helped me. But regardless, if I want to go do something else, I've got it. Okay. So let me give you an idea. And the schoolwork part of things might be a little bit higher at Wake than maybe some other schools, but there's plenty of really good academic and baseball schools around the country, so you're going to get a similar type schedule. So typically, when you're playing college baseball, we'll do, let's start off with, and I guess it doesn't matter whether it's fall or spring. You're either going to have a practice or a game, and so they're both typically going to start at the same time. And so we'll just go through. Let's just pretend it's a fall day and you're in fall. You're playing fall ball. So you're going to wake up. Usually I would wake up at 7, right around 7 something, unless it was freshman year. Freshman year we had 6 a.m. lifts, so you had to get up at 5:30. But we got rid of those after freshman year, thankfully, because those were brutal. So let's say we don't have those anymore, okay? You're going to wake up probably around 7 something. Typically you have an 8 o'clock class. And so at Wake Forest, we practiced every day at 3. So I had to be there around, at the latest, 2:30. Usually I try to get there around 2. And so you had to take morning classes at Wake. You could not take a night class or even an afternoon class because you had practice or games in the spring. And so I took my schedule. I tried to be done by 12 every day. So my classes would go from 8 to 12. And when you do that, you end up going to class almost every day during the week. And you've got to really cram those classes in. So it gets a little bit difficult to do. But you're going to wake up, go to class at 8 a.m. You're going to typically do classes from 8 to 12, usually 3 to 4 classes a day, depending on the day. You get out of there at 12, you're going to eat some lunch quick. So you're going to go and grab lunch, usually at the caf. Although, I moved off campus my sophomore and junior years, so I'd go home usually, make myself some food, and then I'd head back to the field. I try to get there around 2 o'clock to get dressed and loose, maybe hit a little bit in the batting cage before practice. You're going to go to practice. Typically, we would go around 3 o'clock, and we're going to go to about 6 o'clock at night. So typically, it's going to be like a 3-hour practice. In college, you have a limited number of hours you can actually practice. What have I been out of coaching now for 2 years, going on 3 years, and I can't remember the number. 20 hours a week. I think it was 20 hours a week. That's what you're limited to as far as practice goes, and as far as weightlifting, that's included in that. And so you have to also have 1 day off a week. And so usually, you'll get like a Monday off typically, but it just depends on the school you go to and what coach wants. So you're going to do around 3 hours of practice, usually 3 to 6. You're going to get out of practice, and usually you're going to grab a quick bite to eat, like a bar or something, and then you're going to go down to the weight room. Again, in the fall, you're going to lift a little bit more, so you might be lifting 3 to 4 days a week. So you get out of practice at 6, grab a quick bite to eat, you're going to head down to the weight room probably around 6:30. You're going to usually lift for about an hour. So you'll lift 6:30 to say 7:30. You're done at 7:30. You're going to get out, probably take a quick shower, and again, try to eat something quick. So you probably try to grab some dinner. Depending on your year and how you're doing academically, when I was a freshman, it was mandatory study hall for all freshmen. So at Wake, you have what we call the Learning Center, I think is what it was called. And so basically, you have a tutor for almost any class you want. And it's mandatory at your freshman year. So you have to go in and check in. So I'd go over there, say around like 8 or 8:30. I'd check in. And I don't remember the exact hours you had to do, but you had the login hours, and they checked. And So if you didn't log in the right amount of hours, you get punished. Even if you're doing well in class, you still have to go freshman year because they want to make sure they get you on the right track and get your study habits going the right way. And so the one thing about Wake Forest is, yeah, it's a really hard academic school, but they try to take care of you, right? They don't just throw you in there and say, hey, good luck, man, hope you pass. Like, they're going to really make sure that you're passing. And so one of the advantages of going to Wake and a lot of good academic schools that offer these services is that you're going to have somebody there to help you if you need it. And so, you go in there, you get your tutoring done for whatever class you have for that day. They're going to help you with your work. If you have any questions, if you're struggling with something, they'll spend extra time with you. So say you get out of there around like 9 o'clock, probably later if you go in there at 8:30, you're probably going to be in there for about an hour or so. You're going to get out of there. If you ate dinner before, then you're good. You go home. If you haven't, then you're going to go, get some dinner. By this point, when you finish everything up, it's about almost 10 o'clock at night. And so you're going to go back to your dorm or back to my apartment as I was older. And, now it's probably 10 or so, and I got class at 8 a.m. So, some guys are going to try to go out and hang out. I was not a night person. I needed my sleep, so typically I'm going to probably go to bed. Right? I'm going to hang out with my roommate, maybe go out and hang out with some of the guys on the team for a little bit. And then I'm going to try to get to bed probably around midnight, so I can get my close to 8 hours of sleep, get up, do it all over again. So the schedule in college is, really, really intense. I think some guys think like, oh yeah, I'm just going to go and, it's going to be like high school. I'm going to just go to a couple classes and have a quick little practice, and then I'm going to be able to go out and live it up. Like, there's plenty of times in college to be able to go out and hang out with your buddies and go out and stuff. But, if you're a baseball player at a high, typically at the Division I level, not only just the Division I level, but there's a lot of schools that have demanding schedules like this. And the thing with Wake is, they give you a lot of work. Like, they call it, everyone there calls it workforce, not Wake Forest, because they give you so much work. And so, you're going to spend a lot of time doing homework, writing papers, trying to cram things in. And so one of the biggest things I think you learn, or you have to learn as a freshman, is time management. How do I schedule everything so I'm not running around like a crazy man, and so I don't fall behind. Because some kids go in there, and not typically, because usually if you choose to go to Wake Forest, you're going there because you're a good academic student and you want to be pushed academically. But a lot of guys go in there, or some guys I should say go in there, and if you're not on the ball and you don't have good time management skills, you're going to get crushed. And some guys end up transferring out because they just can't do it. They can't figure it out. It's too difficult for them. And so that's the biggest shock, I think, coming from high school to college and realizing what it's going to take. Hold on one sec. I'm fogging up here a little bit. What it's going to take academically, not even so much baseball wise, but balancing the academics and the baseball stuff is difficult. And so that's that's typically what the day is going to look like. You're going to be going crazy. So hopefully that gives you guys a little bit of an idea of what the schedule looks like as far as, college schedule is concerned. Again, the schedule is going to change a little bit because in the springtime, you're going to be traveling a little bit more, a lot more. You're going to be playing games. But typically, again, the schedule stays pretty much the same. We had no lights at our stadium when I was playing there. Now they have a new stadium, they have lights, so they can play night games, and so guys are able to take classes a little bit later in the day in the spring. Sometimes practice is still at 3, and so you'll have to go early. There's a lot of college stadiums that have night practices and do everything at night because they have lights, and we didn't have that at Wake Forest, so we had to push everything earlier. So everyone's going to be a little bit different, but the bottom line is, you're going to really have to go in there and really work. And, there's some colleges where academics are not stressed at all, and so it's more just about baseball, and that's fine too if you're someone that doesn't really care much about the academics and you feel more comfortable doing that. There's that option also. But, if you go to a good academic school, that's going to be pretty much how it works, and they're not going to let you even if it's a good baseball school. They're not just going to let you slide and say, well, it's okay, don't worry about your academics as long as you hit 400 and play good baseball. Like, a lot of times, like when I was at Wake, and I know when I coached there, the coaches stress that, yeah, we're here to be very good baseball players, and most of the guys there want to get drafted, but academics come first. And if you mess around academically, if you don't do what you need to do in the classroom, you're not going to play, right? And so, they really, really stress that I know at Wake Forest and I know at a lot of good academic schools around the country is that, you're there to be a student athlete, not just to be an athlete, right? And if you mess up with the student part of it, you're going to mess up with the athlete part because they're not going to let you do it, right? So that's really important. And I think people don't realize that sometimes. I think they think like, oh, you can just go to those schools and they don't care about they don't care about the schooling as long as you're a really good player. It's not true. They want you to be both. And, they're not messing around. They'll take your baseball part of it right away from you if you're not holding up your end of the bargain in the classroom. So really, really important if you're looking at schools like that. So hopefully this helps you guys out. Let me know if you have any questions. Leave in the comment section below and I'll help you guys out. Subscribe to the channel if you've not done so already. Give us a thumbs up. I'd really appreciate that. Check out our Instagram page, Antonelli Baseball, Twitter feed, Antonelli9. We're posting videos all the time for you guys. Check out the description box below where I put a bunch of links to books and training tools we use with our players. Check out our website, AntonelliBaseball.com, to find out how to work with us. And that's all I got, fellas. Thank you so much for watching. I appreciate it. Hope this helped answer your question, and we'll talk to you later.